Hello everyone, and welcome to a new Let's Play I've decided to start. Unfortunately, when I was playing this, I didn't record my voice because I had fucked up a setting. Yes, it's Rome 2 Total War, so I've got to do a post-record of my voice. So this is going to be fun, watching my own episode again. So, yeah, so at first I was thinking I'd play as the Romans, but then I'd figure, I want to play as the Greeks because I know them better, but I was sort of bored with all of them, so I just decided to pick a random country. So here I'm just going to go through it multiple times until I finally make up my mind. And, you know, at first I was going to play Junia, and I was also trying to explain basically how this game had developed. Rome 2 at first was really buggy, and it had a lot of problems. Nowadays, it's actually pretty damn good, and they've added in season systems where you can see spring, summer, winter, and fall all in effect. And I'll show some of those things too, like the rain falling in spring and fighting in snow and winter in the winter month and stuff like that. And you know, the game is in of itself is actually really good as it is right now. So I suggest all of you to try it if you haven't in the recent months. So, where to begin? I guess the other thing I'd like to say is that the only mod that I'm playing with is the 4 turns per year mod, because the game as of itself is actually really good as it is right now. So yeah, here I'm just going to select random countries. I'm just sort of clicking around, you know, just playing around. Yeah, I played as Egypt, I played as Macedon a little bit, Sparta, Greece, and I mean Sparta, Athens, and Epirus. I played as the Junii of the Romans, and eventually I'm going to settle on playing as the Germans here. I think I'm eventually just going to, yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to stop on that. So I'm playing this on normal, starting at 272 because that's the only start date, and we're playing as the Suebi of the Germans. So I always like to leave these loading screens in too, just like I did with Empire, that way I can talk about stuff. I know I'm talking a lot more probably now because I'm focusing more on, you know, commenting rather than playing the game itself. The main reason I like to do commentary during the game is because it's more natural, and I also don't have to go back and re-commentary everything, which is kind of irritating because it's almost like I have to replay the entire thing anyway. So conquered we conquer. Yeah, I wonder if he's talking about plague and stuff like that. You know, all the problems that arise from countries that try to take over other countries and, you know, oppress them. The people, if they get pissed off enough, they'll really fuck over the main country that's taken them over and so forth. I honestly think that they're doing a lot of good things for the Total War series. I think if they had just not rushed this game as much, I think it would have been a lot better at release. If they had hired more testers and waited for maybe December to release it, I think they probably would have had a much better game than what they did at the start. I actually played it pretty close to the start, and I saw some of the minor problems that were at the start, you know. There were major problems too, like the AI being really passive and other things, but as of it is right now, the AI is very good. I mean, they're not perfect, you know, they're not supposed to be either, but they're very good. They're even better than Empire.
The Celts think themselves superior, but their decadence makes them weak. The Boii are nearby. Put them out of their misery and seize their lands for the tribe.
They also happen to be at war with them.
Move westward, and you will get the chance to kill Gauls, although other German tribes stand between you. War comes naturally to your people, and the tribes are ever at one another's throats.
So it's just like EU4.
But waging war will make your rivals more open to negotiation. However, your ultimate goal should be confederation. The joining of tribes to make a single, stronger one. Under Suebi leadership, the people of Germania will rise up and crush their enemies.
Yes, they will. And with me at the helm, we will achieve more than what we did in Hearthstone 3. So here I'm just, you know, trying to explain basically what's going on. So I'm going to send my spy off to go try to screw over the Boii a little bit, you know. Spies are really great because you can use them to scout out enemy troops and towns, and you can also get them to assassinate. So they're basically like spy assassins, kind of like Ninja from the from Shogun 2, and from Rome. And Shogun, they're the spy and assassin, and shinobi and ninja, respectively, from the original Shogun. So here I'm just sort of showing how the Boei have, sort of your basic troops, a couple of slingers, a couple of spearmen. Here I'm going to try to poison the wells, and of course he gets wounded. Yeah, but we'll see a lot more of that guy and how bad he really is for a starting spy. He has a very unfortunate trait, inbreeding. Oh god. Which is awful, because it reduces his authority down to something in the negative realm, so I can't even get it above the normal thing, so he's going to cost a lot of gold and be really hard to make into a good spy. So here I'm going to research the first military attack, because I am going to be at war with a lot of people, and to tell the truth, the barbarians really do need to be at war. They need to conquer as much as possible before Rome gets powerful, because once they form a confederation, they can really get strong enough to oppose Rome. The barbarians actually have really good tactics, and if you use them effectively, they can really turn the tide of any battle, even though the Romans may be really good really disciplined and all the rest of it. They're not very strong. I mean, if you get a lot of good, swordsmen as the Germans or the Celts, or a lot of really good heavy cavalry, you can really decimate the Romans, just like the Carthaginians did in the Punic Wars. Under Hannibal, that is. And they also can build ballistas and I think onagers at the end, so they're not completely useless when it comes to sieging walls. So you can see here there's only a tiny amount of guys that are actually defending that walled settlement, so it won't be that hard to take. I also mentioned that Diplex Heated is also playing this this exact same thing, the Suebi in Rome 2, but this is my Let's Play, so it's not his, so it's different in that respect. And I'm going to be playing it differently, obviously. So here I'm just sort of showing how the Elder Chiefs are your main faction within your faction, and you basically have to compete against the other chiefs, who are basically the other guys in your tribe that are trying to come to dominance. And the reason I can't assassinate Clodokar is because he's the faction leader of the Elder Chiefs. And all three of these guys have all four of these guys have pretty good traits, philanthropy, peace, giving, all the rest of those. So it's clear these guys are actually kind of nice, even though they may be barbarians and brutal and all the rest of it, they do have, they do have kind streaks anyway. So here I'm going to hire some mercenaries. I got really lucky because I got bowmen and some pretty good spear guys that I can use up a lot. Whenever you get mercenaries, you always want to use them as much as possible. That way you can just get rid of them at the end of it. Because they cost you a lot of gold, and if you get rid of them, they'll have a lot of, they'll give you a lot of gold back if you get rid of them. Well, they don't give it back to you, but it's the idea that when you disband them, you won't have to pay for them again another turn. But they really can turn the tide of a battle. You can hire elephants, archers, all kinds of stuff. So here I'm just going to attack this settlement with the guys that are sieging it. So what I'm going to do here is that since there's an army that's going to reinforce it, I'm basically, I'm going to autosave first. And then I'm going to basically just, explain my tactics. So essentially, I've got a very overwhelming force. I've got like over 3,500 men, somewhere around there. Well, actually maybe about 3,000, a little under 3,000. They've got a little under 2,000. But since they are defending a walled settlement, this is going to be difficult, especially since they have towers which kill a lot of troops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my main forces come in from the north, and then have a southern force basically guard against the guys that are coming in from the south, because that's where they were deployed before the battle. That's basically how it works in this game, is that when you play a battle, wherever your troops are, that's where it's supposed to be fought. And I also was mentioning that this is actually a really cool battlefield. There's like a river that's separating two parts of the town. Very sophisticated for a barbarian town. I've never really seen anything like this before. It's much more interesting than the Greek and Roman slabs that, just sort of exist out in the realm of nowhere, or a kitty corner to a port or a seashore. So, right here I'm just trying to get it into a more peaceable situation. So we got fog and rain. Got lucky with the dry thing on the third one. So I got my main force deployed down here for some reason, even though it was supposed to be deployed up there. I guess the game just tries to put you in the most advantageous spot where you can get the most wall space to attack. One thing I do really like about this this version of Rome is that when you siege a settlement, you actually get free ladders, so you can automatically siege the very minute that you attack without having onagers or something like that. That was really irritating in Rome, how you had to siege and then wait a turn, you know, to actually build something. But this does make sense because, you know, it wouldn't take that long to construct these ladders. It wouldn't take 3 months to construct ladders like that. Probably more like a week or even a couple of days. And they may even have them in the army already, you know, if they're equipped to siege. So that makes perfect sense to me. So that arrow is basically showing that my army is going to come from that direction. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and use my main force to basically flank around from the north, where they're probably not going to be defending as much because there's not as much wall space there that's available to cross over. There's 2 fords there, but there's not very much wall space, so they're probably not going to focus on that as much. And I know the AI, they always try to defend, you know, they always try to make sure they have a good defense going up around their strategic point, because once you capture that, you win the siege map. As I've shown in many games in the Total War series, that's almost always in the Total War series, to capture, you know, a central point to win the siege battle, whether you kill off all the enemy troops or not. Just like I defeated the Courlandians by capturing their fucking fort when they just sort of sat on their walls and did nothing. So I just sort of paraded around until I won, and there we go. I destroyed the Courland. So here I'm going to deploy all my ladders out. This is really cool how you can do this. You can actually put a ladder down and then drop it and then just leave it there so that you can use it later on. So I'm going to drop a ladder up there and let my larger force that's going to come in from the north basically use that one to go over the walls there. So it's really cool what you can do in this game. I think you can do that in every other Total War game, but I just thought it was really cool in this one, you know. Because it does really help for this battle since my guys are going to come from up there. Yeah, so I'm dropping a ladder right there. And the AI doesn't usually try to attack the ladders when they're unequipped. It does make sense, because if you're not using them, what's the point of attacking them, you know? But they're really at a huge disadvantage because they don't have archers, and archers are the best things against siege equipment, because they can fire arrows just like towers can. So here I'm moving all my ladders into position. That was actually kind of a nice section of wall there. I'm kind of surprised why I didn't attack that. I guess I sort of overlooked it. Oh well, when you're playing the game, it gets kind of you know, you can get kind of impatient and just try to get the basic stuff done and then just sort of go with it, you know. Like here, how I fight this battle is going to be a little crazy, you know. It's going to be very, very interesting looking, just to say the least. So here I'm deploying my guys just where I think they might be. They're not really there. They're going to be much farther to the left. I should have thought this over a lot more, but whatever. We win anyway, so. I didn't lose that many troops, actually, maybe only a couple hundred, maybe like 400 or so, but I did kill off a lot of them, so in reality it wasn't that bad. So those are my elite troops right there, led by my general. They're the only guys with swords in the entire army, and of course they do most of the killing against infantry. So here I'm like, okay, where the hell are they? And I'm sending those spear guys up just to see, because I can't really see around that one area. And as you can see, they've put all the guys there. Yep, and the enemy guys are coming. They're coming from all the way over there, so I gotta get the hell over there before they get into the fort and make it even harder for me to take it. So as you can see, they got a pretty balanced army. You know, they got cavalry, spearmen, and archers, but not very good anti-infantry. I'm the guys who have better infantry than these guys. Their infantry are pretty much crap. So I've got all my ranged troops going to take up behind the spearmen, you know, typical stuff. And of course, being the AI, and they know exactly what to do, he charges my sword infantry, which is the perfect thing. And he should have done this, but the problem is I got my spearmen so close it didn't really matter, and you only kill like about 30 of my guys total. So he's just going to basically turn this into a gigantic fight there in the huge fucking brawl there right next to those houses. Yep, he's going to pile that unit on there too. Very barbarian battle, just fighting over a tiny section of land with a gigantic fucking force, you know. And I basically just glom onto it, you know. I'm like, yeah, what the hell? It's a barbarian fight. It might as well be as crazy as that. So right here, I'm just sort of trying to kill off his general to get him to run. That is his general right there. Yeah, and he just got killed. Probably got killed by one of my archers or one of my slingers who's shooting at him. Whenever you're using slingers or archers or any kind of ranged troops to shoot at a you know, at a unit that's fighting one of your units, always try to go for the cavalry because they're bigger targets and you can often shoot over your own guys. Infantry are different because you can't really do that because they're on a much shorter profile and you're going to end up hitting your guys a lot more. Like here, I don't know what I was doing. I should have moved my archers up a lot farther. But I think there I kind of realized what I was doing, and so I did try to move my guys up a little bit more. So yeah, it's a very barbarian battle. You know, everyone's in that one central area and they're just beating the shit out of everybody. So at first I was gonna like just attack his slingers. I think I'm going to attack his infantry now. Like maybe I'll use my slinger. Yeah, there we go. So I've got my archers firing at them. Now I'm gonna get my slingers into the right spot. For some reason they decided to redeploy there. I don't know why, but whatever. So yeah, my archers are shooting at them. They're probably causing a hell of a lot of casualties now. He's probably hitting more of my own troops, but he's hitting more of he's hitting a lot of his troops too, so it's basically turning into a massive bloodbath for his side. My side too, I did lose quite a few men in this first assault, but it's obviously much worse for him. Yeah, there we go, that's that first unit that attacked me. Now I'm going to deal with the second one. Now there goes his cavalry, and there goes the rest of his units, so now I'm just going to finish off his slingers. What I find with this game is that when you charge guys that are in formation, they don't really fight very effectively because they don't try to spread out and actually fight effectively like an empire. They usually just turn into massive mosh pits, but the barbarians seem to know actually how to do this better, and they seem to filter out a little bit more. Like I could see some guys trying to engage on the side there, but I should try to pre-order my guys anyway, because that is an ineffective way of fighting. Okay, so I focused everything on that side of the battle, because I knew the AI wouldn't have anything over here, because they wouldn't expect it. So I'm going to move my second army up there to start attacking from that flank, that weak flank position where only towers are going to be opposing me. So I'm sort of chasing off the slingers, just trying to kill off as many of them as possible. This is going to be a long battle because I've got to do a lot of complex maneuvers to avoid having to get a lot of my troops killed. All those guys, they all look the same, don't they? Yeah, so we're just gradually getting all those guys there. I guess for some reason the barbarians are actually really good at running. They're faster than those damn slingers. So something I'm noticing here is that he's only got like javelineers and slingers. So basically what I'm going to do later on is I'm going to have my archers just attack the javelineers from the side, but first I'm going to do the main thing. So I'm going to move my troops up here, and they are going to attack from the flank basically and try to capture that gatehouse. Right here I'm just going to stand angry and basically make the Celts focus on me over here. But I am going to quietly send one unit around again to attack from the side there, just to keep them off guard and to capture some of those towers so they can fortify those positions on the side. There is something I did realize here, though, is that the AI is playing it pretty safe, because if they tried to attack me out there, they might have wasted all their troops in a pathetic assault, so this actually was pretty smart of them to do it this way. Just to keep their guys in the most, in the best position, and then try to move them around when I attack from other spots, but they really can't cover both sides at once. If they did, then they probably would be stretched too thin, and I could just assault and take maybe a few more losses, but not really that much, It just would have been ineffective, really, what they would have done. So there I'm pointing out that my best guys have some special abilities that are kind of nice, like that frenzy thing. So it's kind of like a berserker charge thing. In this campaign, I think once I get sword and spear and really good sword, axe, and spear infantry, I think I'm going to really start winning a lot more battles more effectively, because right now I just got crappy infantry, really, other than my sword guys that are being led by a general. Yeah, right there you can see there's just so goddamn many dead guys right at one spot. A lot of green, but a lot of red uniforms too. I'm sure those farmers are pissed off for me destroying their vegetable cropland there. Oh well, I'm going to conquer them anyway. They're going to have to abide by my rule, no matter how much they hate it. So we've got our other army deployed here, and they're basically gonna take up positions. I'm gonna send one of my spear levies off, because they're one of the weaker troops, and I don't want them to I don't want one of my generals to take that thing, because the towers are very accurate, and they pretty much kill whatever they hit, because they're probably using like some sort of supercharged arrow or something like that. Like they may even be using an arbalest or something. I don't know what Celts are doing with arbalests, but what the hell. Maybe it had some sort of mechanical thing, like a minor scorpion or something. An effect I really like in this game is when you go over walls or stuff like that, you end up destroying them, like in like the fences. It's kind of cool. Nice little detail. I haven't seen that in any of these other Total War games. I remember in Rome, you felt like you were constantly at odds to try to destroy stuff in-game, Everything seemed completely indestructible, like just these slabs that you have to fight around. Not so in this game. You can pretty much destroy everything in this game. I think you can even destroy the trees if you launch enough rocks at them. I don't know, though. I haven't tried. So this is a pretty weak spot that I'm attacking here, but the problem is there are two towers by that gatehouse, so I'm going to take a lot of losses in that unit. And I've got those guys sitting over there, so now I'm just basically playing a waiting game with the Celts. I'm hoping that they won't move their troops over there, because they might give me a lot more losses than I really want. But right now, I think they realize that they can't defend from both sides, so they're just going to try to oppose me on that side while I attack from the other. At least they're not trying to attack me. That would be really stupid of them. Because if they tried to attack me with their garrison force, they'd probably end up the exact same way as those other guys that I just beat the living shit out of. And here we go. I'm starting to get shot by the towers. So, yeah, I'm going to take a lot of losses in this unit. I think I'm going to take over 80 losses, maybe even 90. I think they went down to 70 or 80 men. But they didn't rout. I was pretty amazed. I think they really need to decrease the accuracy of the towers, because they are incredibly accurate in this game. They kill off a lot of goddamn troops. I mean, they're better than having an archer unit right there. That is a little unrealistic, I think. Yeah. As you can see, they've already killed off 15 guys, and I've gone to the walls just now. And when I finally get to the gatehouse, oh my god, look at the casualties. It's going to be insane. And here I'm getting some lag, probably because I had left Crusader Kings, the 2 Crusader Kings episodes that I had made up on my computer, so I'm probably getting a little bit of lag from that, and probably from just other stuff going on my computer in the game. So yeah, not much I can do here, except for just wait for it to do whatever it's doing. I'm trying to fix it by cycling through the menus, stuff like that, you know. Looks like it kind of did, because it automatically started working better, but you never know. I almost think that sometimes the game becomes desync, so it's like it tries to pause so it can catch up with itself, kind of like when you're playing a multiplayer game and the lag goes. One thing I do like about in this game is that when you have even one unit near a center, or whatever it is that you're capturing, it'll automatically start getting captured. I like that a lot, because it does make a lot of sense. Because if there's even one guy near a place that's capturable, you know you can easily take it for yourself. There's only like a couple of guys there. If you've got a really good guy, he can run in and out and kill everything. So yeah, I took 90 losses in that one unit just from those 2 towers. Fucking Lord of the Rings. Yeah, they got beat to shit. Didn't even engage a unit and they already got eliminated. I don't think the towers are nearly as accurate as they are in this game.
We have captured the gates!
There's no other games I think I've seen where I've seen towers that are this ridiculously accurate or effective. They must just have ridiculous armor piercing or something. But then again, these are guys that are just, with probably wicker shields and spears, so they're probably not very, good at defending themselves against arrow fire. And I'm supposing that these guys that are in the towers must be like the best sharpshooters of the tribe or whatever. So probably huntsmen. So if you get a big group of guys, they probably could hit quite a few guys actually. Unlike the guys who are just in a gigantic formation, just sort of shooting. They're just trying to sort of shoot into an area instead of going for particular targets. Because these guys in the towers have all the time in the world to shoot. I mean, obviously they can't, focus like on one particular guy. They're probably shooting at the mass, but probably trying to focus their shots as much as possible, because they do have a lot of other guys to kill as well. I kind of wish that you could get your guys to swim in this game. I remember that was from Barbarian Invasion. That was really helpful, being able to go across certain places in a river without having to use a ford. Kind of nice. I wish they'd keep that for other games. Seems like they sort of got rid of that in Empire and Medieval too. It does make it is a little unrealistic, because honestly, if you swim, you're going to end up losing a lot of your equipment if you don't keep hold of it and all the rest of it. And it's hard to do that while you're swimming, so. Right there I realized, I probably want to go over on the side there, because there are two arrow towers right there that could catch me in a crossfire there, so I decided to go farther to the left. Probably should have gone even farther to the left, but, yeah, that one spot there was actually pretty weak, and I might have only gotten shot by one tower. In reality, I actually am going to go into a crossfire a little bit here from that tower to the left and that tower to the right. But right there, I'm just going to, go over there, which I think is protected from that tower on the left, but it's not really. Well, there's some blondes in there. It's not just brown, black-haired, like every other thing. And there I can see, I'm getting shot by the damn arrow tower again. It does look like my better troops, though. The sword guys are a lot more resistant to arrow fire, though. So maybe it's just not. So maybe the game may be maybe making them a little too accurate, but, for what it is, it's okay. Like, in all reality, if those guys were able to, attack at their leisure, and they really are, I mean, they're not really guys in the tower, it's just the tower itself. They can probably just shoot the living shit out of whoever is down there, just pick off random guys at will, aiming at anyone that's there. And their shields are pretty thin, so I could believe that they wouldn't be that effective for stopping arrows, especially from a trained marksman or hunter. Especially if he's got a really powerful bow, or is even being helped by an arrow loading station or something like that. So that he doesn't have to constantly go back into his quiver or something like that to, and thus, throw off his aim and everything. Like if he has like some guy basically giving him arrows, to shoot, then that would be really effective.
We have captured a tower.
Yep. There's going to be a lot of capturing of towers in this battle. The main reason I wanted to capture all these towers is because I just don't want them to shoot at my goddamn troops when I'm fighting the enemy side, so. And the other good thing is that once you capture a tower, yes, these guys in this one spearman unit decided to form a massive Congo line. God knows why. And the thing about capturing towers is that once you capture them, you can actually use them against the enemy troops. They'll actually shoot at them, just like they do, here, against mine. So you can see the huge benefit of that, when you finally get those damn towers captured, you can use those stupid marksmen against the enemy troops and kill off a lot of their guys. So here I realized that these towers have ridiculously long range because they probably are archers and everything, I mean, they are shooting arrows, so. We're gonna run over there and capture that one too. So this is all trying to avoid basically a massive, death struggle there at the gates, which it would end up being if I launched my guys over the walls there. I try to do that all the time, but if guys are if the AI is just camping around every single spot that I can use to get in from the side, then I'm just gonna attack the weakest one. That's how I always That's how I always try to fight siege battles. Just go after the undefended spot. If there's no undefended spots, then go after the weakest defended spot. Makes sense. And whenever I'm defending, I always try to basically do the inverse, try to defend everything effectively. If you can't, then defend the weakest spot most effectively. So here I'm getting that weird lag again a little bit. And my guys are going across the bridge, which hopefully isn't going to be, exploded or anything. Bridge too far reference.
We have captured a tower.
Yep. Thankfully, I'm losing a lot of the mercenary unit. Not as much in my other guys. Due to towers. I really think it's weird how the only advisor and aide-de-camp you always get is always that Roman guy that's from the prologue. Seems kind of strange. I mean, wouldn't they have other guys? I know in Barbarian Invasion and even the original... Well, actually, no. In Barbarian Invasion, that's when they fixed it. In the original, even if you played as the Barbarians, you'd still get the regular advisors and everything. The Roman centurion guy, and then the woman who's got like the toga and headdress on. But in Barbarian Invasion, you'd actually get different looking advisors if you played as different people. Kind of wish they'd give you a different aide-de-camp. I mean, they could easily do it, just put a different guy up there and give him a different voice actor and everything. It'd be pretty easy to do. This guy knows there's about 1 million goddamn, portraits they could put up there. I mean, every single character in this game has a portrait, so you could easily put any old portrait up there. You can even put like a, you could even like have a second unit that's like your aide-de-camp's, bodyguard or something. Like have 2 units in an army instead of just 1 for the general. Like have him command a second thing. Like maybe if you're playing as the Romans, he could be like the Legatus, you know, who's basically like a colonel in the Roman army. What I really would like to see if they put into the game is a unlimited numbers of units in an army. That would be really nice. Because frankly, I hate the idea of putting only 20 guys in one army, and the idea of not being able to merge your armies into one massive army is a little crazy too. And I would like to be able to deploy my armies, you know, based on what units they have, not, you know, just allowing the game to do that. That would be nice to be able to do that. So here I'm just sort of skirmishing with his troops there. You know, I realize they can't hit me because he's got javelineers and they don't have the range that my archers do. So here I'm getting some use out of those mercenaries. I think that unit is actually going to run away eventually because I actually did enough damage to it to get those guys to die enough times. And there I decided to just test out blowing up the tower instead of just killing it. And there I accidentally set fire to my own tower because the guys don't stop shooting at it until... Actually, I don't think they ever stopped shooting at it. They were shooting at it even when it was their own tower. But yeah, I end up losing that tower. Not a big deal. So I'm killing quite a few guys there. Archers are actually surprisingly accurate. I think I gotta rally this unit as I remember. I like how the morale goes in this game. You know, it's kind of random, you know. It kind of depends on how good your troops are.
A tower has been destroyed.
Yep, I know. It is very strange having a Roman guy with a British accent, of course, because every Roman and every Egyptian speaks with a perfect British accent, as we all know from every single movie that was made around the sword and sandal period. I do think that is kind of funny, though, how they've decided to do it that way. And in this game, it's not as obvious that they have British accents. In the original game, my god, the advisors, they were so British, it was ridiculous. But I do like in this game how things are kind of, you know, they're realistic, but they're also, you know, balanced in the sense that you're going to be able to, you know, defend stuff with only a couple of guys and still win anyway.
Get moving.
Yeah, if you're effective with what you use, then you're going to end up winning a lot of battles. I do think though that the rock paper scissors thing is still prevalent. The idea that you have to use sword infantry against all infantry, spear infantry against horses, and archers against, you know, regular guys. They're going to charge you automatically like cavalry and so forth. But, you know, it does make sense, the general idea of it, but I would like to see a more realistic aspect of it, like making spear guys much more defensive against sword infantry. But I can understand why, you know, hoplites going against Roman legions would not be very effective, because frankly, Roman legions are like the perfect sword infantry killers. And here we're going to have another massive battle because I decided to just throw caution to the wind and basically just charge right in there with everything I've got. I did realize that what I was doing there was a little stupid, so I did just, I did decide to actually put my guys over there. You know, they were just sort of sitting back, and also move these guys up from the side. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. Yeah, so those two spear guys are going to come in from the side. Not really there because they're just so far away, but I am going to order my, so I'm going to order my guys to attack again, just to make sure they're filtering out. And then I'm going to get my my sword masters, really being led by my other main general. I'm going to get them to go around there. You know, they're going to get shot by the tower a little bit, that's okay. And then I'm going to have them charge right into the flank of all those guys. They're just going to cut them to pieces. So my clubmen and spearmen are going to have to suffer a little bit as they fight it. Kind of a losing battle against superior troops. Well, they're not really superior. I mean, they've got pretty much the same stuff I've got. They're just spearmen, you know. They may not even be as good as my guys. You know, I think they're actually weaker, the spear levy guys. They're kind of like the Roarii in the Romans build structure. The Roarii were like the fourth line of the ancient Roman maniple system. And it was the idea that those guys were basically just the absolute reserve troops. You know, they were the shit of the shit, and they would be kept back only if there was absolutely no hope for the rest of the army. You know, the Hastati had been spent, the Principe had been spent, the Triarii were just fighting a losing battle. You know, the Roarii would just be thrown in at the last minute, just as a desperate hope to win the battle. But usually, if it went to that, you know, the Romans would just end up running anyway. I like how in this game a lot of units use that idea of throwing stuff before they actually engage. Egyptian infantry do that, and so do these swordmaster guys. I like that. I like how it's not just the fucking Romans who do that. I always thought that was a little overpowered, how only the Romans throw. I mean, seriously. Wouldn't you think that the Germans would have learned that, you know? That throwing something before you engage an army is actually a really effective tactic? Yeah, that one unit is routing. It's the mercenary unit that's taken like almost all of its losses, but it's pretty impressive how those guys have held out all that time. So all his infantry have routed. They're all running away. They're just trying to get out of here. And now the skirmishers are completely by themselves, so they're going to get completely destroyed.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Yeah, for you Roman fools who don't know how to actually fight a battle. Yeah, watch this. Watch how fast these guys rout. Yeah, never, ever try to engage infantry with your skirmishers unless they're like Peltus and you can attack from the flanks. But even then, don't do it because it's just really ineffective. Alright, so I just won the battle because they're just running away. Yeah, a decisive victory because the garrison forces, they always automatically die. You know, whether you kill all of them or not, they're gonna die at the end of the game, at the end of the battle anyway. Well, not necessarily die, but just, you know, disappear. So that was a really good victory. Even though I was the sieging army, I actually took less losses than the defenders. Killed twice as many guys as I lost, about. Give or take a few hundred. And half of those losses that I incurred were from the towers, so technically, you know, I did really well. So I'm just going to occupy because I'm not a completely evil bastard who just wants to kill everybody. If they surrender, I'll honor it. And I also don't... Not only do I always occupy, but I always release captives. I hate that idea of killing captives. I think that's just pissy. You know, it's just a pissing contest. You know, I can kill more of your guys after the battle when they're not actually fighting me. Rawr. You know, it's just irritating. And all it really does is it just makes the guys that you're fighting when you kill the captives. All it does is just pisses them off, and all the guys that hate that particular tribe, they end up liking you a little bit more. But it really is unimportant. You know, I hate the idea of killing battle captives. I think that's completely ridiculous. I mean, not only is it insane from the moral side of things, but it's also crazy. I mean, why on earth would you kill your enemy when you captured him? Why not, you know, let him go back and, you know, become part of your society if you're really trying to do that, you know? Oh well. I think that's the problem, is that in this game a lot of AI forces and a lot of other things I've seen have you know, they've always thought that, you know, killing off your enemy completely is the best way to destroy him and keep him from, you know, coming back and all the rest of it. But that's really not so. You know, the Romans, after they destroyed Carthage, you know, in the third and final Punic War, you know, those tribesmen hated them. You know, that were around that surrounding area for hundreds of goddamn years, and even more than that. I mean, and the Romans lost North Africa really early on when they were being conquered by the surrounding barbarian tribes. The Vandals ended up taking over North Africa after they sacked Rome. And yeah, so here I'm showing basically how the you know, the barbarian tribes actually can build siege equipment, so it's a good thing to actually get that artisan's lodging. I will end up getting a holy tree shrine site for my other uh, other line of settlements. But the main thing that I've got to prevent right now is that I've got to prevent losing any more food, because right now I'm actually losing a lot of food. That's going to make people really mad at me. Not to mention keep my guys from being able to replenish themselves and all the rest of it, you know.
Share my fire.
So I'm going to get the warrior trait, because I do want these guys to be really good fighters. So right here I'm trying to do a comparison of the two crappy infantry I have, the club and spear levy. Pretty much the club are slightly better at killing infantry, and the spear is slightly better at killing cavalry. Well, actually no, the spear levy are actually really good at killing cavalry. Club levy not so much against infantry.
Thirsty for battle. Ready for battle. Warriors all. We need.
At last I decided to build basically what I didn't have. Yeah. So I figured that'd be good just to balance out my army with 3 units of each. And so here I'm finally going to start doing diplomacy, because I think, well, I got that main battle out of the way, so now I should probably try to see who my enemies are, and my enemies and friends are besides the Boii.
Welcome, worthy friend.
We got the Marcomanni over there, who are basically the Swabians. Or at least they're around the area where the Swabians are. Swabians and Hessians. Yeah, the thing about joining the Confederation deal, that's only something you want to use when you've beaten off an enemy army or something like that, you know?
You are honorable.
It basically makes them part of your country, and you also become a confederation of tribes, so you're more lenient to, you know, attacking larger groups, stuff like that.
You speak well, but I fear the
AI is still pretty dodgy when it comes to making deals with you.
Greetings, friend.
Like, sometimes you can get a trade agreement like that. These guys are actually friendly to me, but they still won't get a trade agreement with you. They'll get a non-aggression pact, but even then, they still won't get a trade agreement. And they'll even get military access. It's like when they trade, they're really nasty to you. It's like they only want trade when they're really, you know, interested in
we will speak together of whatever
getting your goods. So if you don't have very good trade goods, then they're not going to be interested in trading with you.
You bless our meeting with these terms. I will show.
So those guys won't agree to trade. So none of these guys really will.
Greetings, friend. We will speak together of whatever you wish, but speak quickly and well. Speak.
Speak.
I have little gain in wasting the day on you. What you say?
All these particular places have very Roman names, you know, Dacia, Cisalpania, Britannia, Germania Inferior, Germania Superior, stuff like that. It's all based on what the Romans call these various provinces. And oddly enough, a lot of these names are what are commonly used to refer to these peoples, like the Sarmatians and Britons and Celts and all the others. Gauls. So right here I'm trying to point out that when you tax provinces lower, it helps the settlement grow faster, and that actually is true. But the problem with that is that I was also trying to say that when you tax tax them less, it also makes it so that the province wealth goes up as well, but that's not actually true. This game handles much more like the original Rome, and that the province wealth stays basically the same, but then you just try to improve it. Get the tax income up, so forth. There's a really dire effects when you start raising the taxes above normal. People really start to hate that, and you also get some pretty nasty effects where you'll start to lose population, which is bad. I do like how there's so goddamn many different factions in this game. That's really nice. That way it's not just a bunch of blobs of rebels and, you know, like how there's, you know, actual tribes and that are all over the goddamn place, and not just, you know, one massive tribe called the Germans, you know, and stuff like that. I really hated in the original games how everything that you would, you know, be fighting was a rebel or whatever, you know, at the start, and then you'd finally go to war with the real faction. That's when real stuff would start happening. So, first thing was a bit of good news. I wounded one of the enemy agents from the Bowie Eye when he tried to assassinate or something. And here I'm getting a food shortage in my country, so people are getting pissed off at me because they think I'm inept. In reality, there's nothing I could really do. I'm already doing as best as I can by building the farming stuff up there. I mean, if I really wanted to be insane and not take a single turn of food loss, then I would have destroyed the settlement to keep me from having to lose as much food. As that's what it is. I don't have a single farm, and I'm having to build one right now just to counter this food shortage. Unfortunately, even though that province I took is very huge, for some reason you can't really build that much in it because there's only one or two things that have been, well, there's only the basic thing that's been built up. I think once you build up the next parts, though, I think it is going to increase in size. That's usually how it works in this game. Also, when you're hiring generals, it's usually nice to get the guys that don't cost a single thing. Sometimes you get that, so that instead of them costing 375 gold, you'll actually get one that costs 0. And here you also get it with the units. Sometimes you'll get a unit that costs nothing. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just the idea that you're hiring them from like what they already own or something like that. Like maybe you have to equip them with something they're not used to if you're doing something else. But either way, I'm just going to build another swordmaster troop there. It's nice to just build generals up and armies, because the more armies you have, the more elite units you can build. Because like there, you know, the generals, they always get elite units. Like the swordmasters are really good heavy cavalry, you know. And plus, when you get more armies, you're more flexible, so you can send various armies out to various places. And it doesn't cost that much to maintain an army with only a general unit. It's where it really comes into account is where you have a lot of guys that you have in an army to, you know, equip with supplies and so forth, and thus upkeep. So I really like this game. I think they've done not well for the whole Total War thing of revisiting Rome and all the rest of it. I think it's better than the original Rome, honestly. It's more interesting and more in depth than what it was before. Because honestly, the original Rome was not very different from the original Shogun. You know, the original Shogun was enormously oversimplified. Everything was based on the gold and nothing else, you know. And when you fight battles, you know, it'd be very simplified, you know, very rock paper scissory, very based on, you know, charging and all the rest of it, and height advantages, stuff like that. I mean, hell, the units themselves weren't even there. They were more like just sprites that were attacking each other, so... Yeah, in the original Shogun and Medieval, they didn't even have 3D graphics for the soldiers. They were just two-dimensional sprites that were like in a three-dimensional plane, like in Wolfenstein or Doom. So here now I've finally gotten the damn farm up, so I can finally start detaxing this province here. Actually start retaxing the province. So I've got my scout back up. He only took 2 months to, or rather 6 months to recover from being wounded. So I'm going to send him down here just to see what's over there. So they got pretty much the same kind of army down defending their main territory now. They've got a lot more guys in this territory, obviously, because it's all the rest of their tribesmen. So since I've gotten that first one, I'm going to get this next one. It's like a something that increases the overall power of my army. I think it's head hunting or something like that. So it's the idea that you're, you know, having your guys go out and seek individual guys, you know, collecting their heads as trophies, basically. Kills. Very barbaric. But hey, we are barbarians, so there you go. So I'm gonna get this other guy who's actually a statesman, but yeah, so at first I wanted to get a swordmaster, but I realized, oh, those horses don't cost a single thing to hire, so I might as well get them.
Fight with us. It's a good life.
So here I realized, oh, we've actually got a pretty balanced army here, even though it is very depleted because of the food shortage. So I'm basically going to just put my guys right there. And
Ready for battle.
essentially with this, I'm going to, you know, do the same thing I did last time. Basically just attack the territory and take it over. The Boii will never agree to a confederation. You can only do that with guys that are of the same blood as you. So basically Germans. And since the Boii are Celts, you can't do that because they're of a different culture. So here I realized, oh, I got really lucky here again. I've got sword infantry that I can hire as mercenaries and some nice light cavalry, since I don't have a single cavalry unit at all in this army. It would be really nice if I could get some cavalry, so I'm going to end up hiring all of them. So yeah, it's the same as before, you know, a lot of spearmen, hardly any real infantry, you know, just spearmen and slingers, javelineers, and cavalry. So as before, you know, I'm going to say auto-save, because that's a good thing to do before every battle, just to make sure stuff doesn't happen. And then, you know, basically the same thing. He's got about 2,000 units, I've got about 3,000. And, luckily, they sell it out. It does actually make sense why they would do this, because they could use their cavalry to better effect out in the field than in the settlement, but honestly, they're pretty much going to be devastated anyway, because I have superior infantry. And I know how to counter cavalry tactics very well, as you will soon see. So here you can really see the effect of the weather, you know, it's very different looking than usually in summer. Like, it's very cold looking. This is definitely supposed to be autumn. So you can see they're over there, basically deploying into an effective line. You know, makes sense. Typical formation. Archers in front, spearmen behind them to support them. So I'm basically going to do the same thing, except I'll put my cavalry over there so I can do some flanking assaults. What cavalry I have. So I'm going to do basically the same thing, except I'll put my guys behind them, because I like to do that better, because it's more secure. So I'll put my sword infantry on the sides, spearmen in the middle, club guys on the right, sword infantry on the final right, and then put my javelineers right behind the spear guys. I'll start the battle. My guys are coming in from the sides and in the rear. So I'm basically going to have them mesh them. I'm gonna mesh them up with my own line.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, they have, Roman guy. It'd be very interesting if they'd explain the backstory of this guy. Apparently, he's been captured by the Greeks, the Parthians, the Carthaginians, the Germans. He really sucks as a Roman, you know? I mean, he's been captured by pretty much everybody and held as a hostage aide to camp. So basically, we're gonna form both of our armies up, you know. He's gonna move around enough so that I can't get to him as fast as possible, and he's gonna sort of form his troops up into offensive position there. Basically, gonna form our armies up and then duke it out. So this is gonna be kind of epic. This is probably the largest battle I've ever fought, actually, because there's just so goddamn many guys in it. Well, actually, I fought larger battles. I think there was one where I fought that was like about 10,000 guys. I think I had like 2 armies reinforcing each other, and then like 2 gigantic armies coming after me, and I actually ended up winning anyway, so it's kind of cool. It's cool in this game how you can have a lot of goddamn guys on the battlefield now. I think they've really tried to optimize the game itself so that you can have a lot of guys. Because I'm running this like on max settings, and there's no difference in the lag whatsoever. So they've really optimized this game a lot for higher end computers. My computer's actually like 5 years old, and it's still running these games really, really well. And I've got a very old graphics card and all the rest of it. I think it's from like 2008, somewhere around there. But it's pretty high end, and my processor is still listed like on the medium low end of like what's able to run Battlefield 4 and stuff like that. So I know that I've got a pretty good computer despite its age. Okay, so he basically makes the first move when he starts shooting at my guys with his slingers. I'm just going to let him do that because he's shooting at my strongest infantry, and they're just going to, you know, counter him with raising their shields basically. Slingers are complete shit against armored units. They only kill like a couple of them. The best guys to use against armor units are archers and javeliniers, especially because they puncture armor and shields much better than slings. Slings are only really good when you're hitting guys that are running away or just using them to irritate guys so they'll charge at you. But that's not going to work because I am very calm, and I will use every single advantage against these guys that I can before I'll end up charging them. So here I'm going to for a massive broken V there. I mean, very, very huge broken V formation there. Just totally obvious what I'm doing there, you know. Usually in Empire, I'd like to try to form a sort of a subtle broken V, you know, that's just sort of on the side so I could get an automatic flanking position. But right there, you can see it right there. It's just so obvious. It's ridiculous. But in all reality, I do want to flank him as much as possible, so. And here you can see he's already starting to contract his line because he realizes, oh shit, there's a lot more guys here than I thought. So he's got his cavalry right there, so I got an idea here. I realized, oh, I've got my spearmen over here anyway. My sword infantry over there. So, and I do have my cavalry there as well, so what can I do? So I'm already looking at these weak spots here. He's got very weak units. They're not facing my troops. He's not contracting his line, so he's not doing very well in that regard. So what I end up doing is I end up basically doing a double envelopment on him without him actually realizing it, of course. While I try to fight a Napoleonic battle in the center, while I have only a couple of units defend against superior troops, while I have my guys basically crush his flanks and then come in from the sides and totally decimate him. So here I'm going to tempt him with my cavalry. I'm just going to run them in between both of our armies, and there they go. There they go. They're chasing out my cavalry. And now I'm going to have my spearmen charge in, and then have my cavalry countercharge. And there we go. Yes, yes. And my javelineers finish them off. There we go. I've almost completely decimated that cavalry unit in a matter of seconds. I lost hardly any cavalry from that too. Probably mostly friendly fire. And these spearmen are just slaughtering the living shit out of him. Okay, and he's trying to do the same thing to me by sending his spearmen up there, but I realize that he's not going to be good enough to do it. So I've got his cavalry engaged with my spearmen. I've achieved that. Unfortunately, my spearmen are really weak, so they're probably going to rout anyway. That doesn't matter that much though, because I've got such overwhelming numbers, it's not going to really matter if I lose one particular unit or not. So right here, I'm just realizing, oh fuck this, I'm just going to charge. So I've killed off his infantry there. I'm going to send my cavalry back, because the spearmen are going to slaughter the living shit out of them if I don't. And, yeah, so this is going pretty well. Everything's going to plan. There is one problem though. You see that middle part of the line? There are no spearmen there in my force. And the AI is clever as shit, figures it out, as you'll soon see. They do cause me to have a lot of casualties from that, unfortunately.
Infantry!
But as you can see here, I'm just beating the shit out of this guy. There's nothing he can do. I mean, I've got my guys are kicking the shit out of him. But here, yep, he orders his cavalry to charge my clubmen guys, and they are getting beaten to hell by the cavalry.
Our general is under attack.
But luckily, I'm doing pretty well anyway, so I should be able to win. Yeah, so he's got two cavalry units that are attacking that one center that has no spearmen whatsoever. So basically, I've got to come in from the sides and save my general before he gets completely destroyed. So this is a pretty epic battle. I mean, it was in the bag because I'm just such a better tactician than the AI, but and I do have an overwhelming force in numbers, but we're gonna end up winning this anyway. So yeah, my clubman guys are getting beaten to shit from the cavalry. But here come my spearmen and my javeliniers are gonna kick the shit out of the cavalry.
Our men flee
Yeah.
This is a shameful display.
Yeah, so his guys are already starting to rout because he realizes that all the army is routed behind him. So his general's gonna fight there a little bit, and we won. So I decided the end of the battle because it's pretty much over anyway. And that was an even better battle than the other one. So I took only 400 losses and killed 1,600 guys that time. Almost killed their entire army. And about 50 of those guys were due to friendly fire, so they can't even claim that as kills. Battles in this game are actually pretty engaging. They're a lot more interesting than Rome, where it was just mass troops up in a formation, charge on the flanks, yada yada yada, rinse and repeat. But in this, you know, it actually feels like a real battle. You know, it's kind of chaotic, but you can still manage it. You know, it's like Empire. It's very much like Empire in a lot of ways. I like that. Rome is like the OCD Total War. This is like the realism Total War. You know. Shit happens in a battle. You can't fucking control every single element of it. So I think this is one of the last things I'm going to do before I advance it up into winter and start fighting the next battle. So I'm going to have to end the commentary here pretty quickly. Basically what I've been doing is I'm going to, you know, I started the recording separately from watching the video, and then I'm going to, you know, put it in relatively where it is. You know, it's probably not going to be completely accurate. Like, it'll probably be a couple of half seconds off or something like that, but it'll be okay. It'll be close enough. So here you can see, you know, the army has two different things that are kind of effective for what I want to do. I want to fight a very melee-centric thing. You know, I don't want to rely on, you know, archers or stuff like that. So I gave my guys the one that gives them more melee damage. Now here I've got the soldier trait, so that's going to give me a massive bonus to my attack power.
For the all highest.
Soldier's a really good trait because it makes your guy even better. It gives him 2 zeal, and it also gives all your troops massive charge bonuses. So here I captured another, or actually no, I didn't capture another. Yeah, I did capture another farm. So I'm almost debating about building another farm there just to get more income going. But I decided to build the shrine right there, just to make it so these guys would like me more.
Ready for battle.
Because they are being conquered by me. These are not my my tribesmen. But I have taken over the entire province here because there's only 2 territories here. So I'm going to I almost missed it, but thankfully the game actually reminds you if you miss it. So once I look at these guys, I'm just sort of checking to see if anyone likes me. I'll try to trade with the Lugii again. And they didn't accept it again, so I just say what the hell. So I'm going to end the turn. And of course the game is like, oh wait a minute, you got something you can do. So you can actually pass an edict. So there's 4 different edicts. You got the tribute collection, which raises taxes, bread and games, which raises food and public order, migration, which gets rid of well, it makes it so that your towns grow faster. But bread and games really is the most effective one, because when you increase your public order, that makes your country more effective because people pay more taxes and all the rest of it. And food is just really good to have, because once you have more food, you can have more growth in your cities, more troop replenishment. It's really awesome, and it really helps a lot. So Yeah, commercial stimulation is stupid because it reduces slave population decline, which makes them more likely to revolt. Migration is kind of interesting because that's not in any of the Greek or Roman cultures. That basically increases growth and decreases replenishment costs. But I decided to go with Bread and Games because it is my favorite, and it does do very well in the long term. I like in this game how it gives you a lot of reminders about stuff to do, and the end turn thing. That's really nice. How it reminds you if you can like upgrade your general or pass an edict, stuff like that. That's really nice. And I like these whole dilemma things. These are totally new. These are basically things that make it so that you can determine the course of various interesting events that happen in your country. Like what to do with building a temple, and like how to go about treating your citizens in the time of war and stuff like that. It happens occasionally, but it's kind of interesting when it happens because you can sort of change the way that you deal with stuff. Sometimes you can have enlightened ways of dealing with it, like, simply doing nothing if people are enjoying themselves, or, stuff like that. So here it's winter, you can see it easily. I mean, this is very different from what it was before, where everything was always summer. So this is really cool. They finally added winter into the game and all the rest of it, and you can see it, the effects of it, in the campaign map and on the battle map, as you'll soon see. Remember those guys that retreat away? Well, I'm going to send my inbred spy over to try to sabotage them again. And this time he actually did it, thankfully. He also upgraded, so I'm going to upgrade him a little bit. And right there I saw he had a bad trait, and then I realized, oh god, he's inbred. Yeah, when close relatives become parents, the results can be unfortunate. Ugh, awful. And he also has an awful thing there too. Doesn't increase his skill. And right there I did the authority thing, but it didn't raise the authority. So literally his authority is so low, it's at the very baseline. I can't increase it beyond that 1 until I finally increased it past the -2 thing. So it's probably like 0 right now, really. Alright, so these guys are pretty much finished. They've only got one slinger unit and one cavalry unit. That's his general. So they're going to be pretty much crushed. They are going to incur a few losses on me, but I think I'm going to have to wrap it up pretty soon here, because this recording is about to finish. This was very enjoyable for me to go back and look at what I did. I think I'm very inspired with what I've been doing, and I think I'll see you guys all later when I finally upload this and then do some other stuff. So yeah, I decided to find the snow. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Scrappers ready. Germanic youth!